Hi, this is May.
And I'm Joy.
Welcome to the QWERTY Writing Life Podcast, where we have candid chats about our creative lives.
May and I are friends, writers, and creatives who want to share our endeavors out loud.
On this podcast, we're here to encourage each other, and you too,
and share tools we've discovered or made up.
So you can follow your passions with a little support. So grab your tea
or your coffee,
and let's get started. Hi everyone, we are back for another week and we are excited to be here with you today. And our first step, if you're new to listening to our podcast, the first thing that we do is go through our creative weeks. So Joy, what did you do this week?
Well, this week had a lot of revisions on our book, Finders Keepers, a practical approach to find and keep your writing critique partner. It will be out later this year. And so the revisions are really such a creative thing, because what we did, especially with this round of revisions, is we took a good thing and we transformed it in a completely different way, in a way that I actually never would have thought of. We had a great mentor who gave us a tip, and it turns out that she was pretty spot on with it. So, made it something even better, and that's a pretty cool creative thing. So what about you?
Oh, this was quite a week, but my creative stuff actually tended to be more geared toward my full-time job as an administrative assistant. So I was working a lot on finalizing this journal template, and it's a journal that is for students in the program who go on these trips, either for missions or for cultural enrichment. And it's specific questions that they can use to finish assignments when they get back from these trips, and also to create certain interactions into narratives. So not only will I have created this template for this journal, but I'll also be teaching them in a very quick fact way how to turn those interactions into a story. So not a, that's a little bit of a pressure point for me. So I hope that I do that properly. And I feel like it's going to be okay. I'm not quite sure. We'll see. But so there's that. And then we also have, we've been ordering paraphernalia to give away. So frisbees and squishy balls. And I've been trying to figure out how logos will go on sweater vests, because one of my supervisors loves sweater vests. So that's just kind of how my week has gone.
Well, instead of dwelling on sweater vests, I don't really know a transition from sweater vest to our topic, but
I think you just do it hard. You just cut it off right there
there
at the
you go. All right, so we are here this week with some tips for your best NaNoWriMo. All right, so some of you might be listening and thinking, what in the world are they talking about? Now they're talking gibberish. They really have lost their minds. Well, we might have lost our minds, but I promise we're not talking complete gibberish. November is National Novel Writing Month, affectionately known as NaNoWriMo. Because many of our listeners are writers and might be participating, we thought that it would be a fun thing to kind of give a shout out to them, to let you know that we're going to be thinking about you this month, and we're going to be cheering you guys on. And we also wanted to share a few tips and encouragement, because May and I have both participated in NaNoWriMo in the past, and so we thought maybe we'd have a few things to share with you guys. So this actually is the 20th anniversary of NaNoWriMo, which is amazing. Good job, guys.
Happy birthday, Nano!
Yay! It's incredible. Okay, so I actually had written a post about this a while back, and so just a few fun facts. It started in '99. And the idea is for writers all over the world to set aside all of the excuses, because we know we have those, and get a novel written in 1 month. So November, the goal is for every writer to write 50,000 words in 1 month. Now, that may not be enough words to complete a full novel in some genres, but it's a pretty hefty start. I mean, 50,000 words in 1 month, that's nothing to sneeze at. So, since its start nearly 20 years ago, this month-long focus on writing has grown and expanded, and now there are 2 camp NaNoWriMos, and that's actually what I've participated in. November's never been a good month for me for something like this, but the camps are in April and June, or July. Yes, July, sorry. And so I've actually participated in 3 of those. That is how I finished the first draft of Any Good Thing. That's how I wrote the first draft of my novella, Plus 1 Year More. And that's how I did the final revision for Any Good Thing. So I'm pretty fond of the camps myself.
My participation in NaNoWriMo was, I think the first year that I did it, it was around 2012, which means that I was also, nope, that wasn't, I was having a baby in November of 2012, so that's not it. Probably 2013 then.
Okay.
So my son's birthday is November 1st, so I feel like I
Aww.
didn't do it that year. So 2013 probably was the year that I did it. And I didn't reach the 50,000 mark. So I didn't quite quote unquote win, but I feel like a winner because I got so many words that I would not have had any other way, because it gave me this opportunity with this community around it to focus on my writing and to commit to writing as much as I could during that month. And of course, there's Thanksgiving and all of these other things that were happening at that point in time. I would have had a 1-year-old, so there were probably some other things happening there too. But I do love the whole idea around it. The community is amazing. The articles that NaNo puts out during the month for encouragement and for motivation and even for prepping before, like they are really hardcore about that too. And so it's just a great organization. It's something that even if you don't participate, you should know about and you should use as a resource for sure.
Definitely, yeah. The reason that I really love it is, and this is kind of what it boils down to for me, NaNoWriMo expands our writing community. It provides support and encouragement in the writing journey, and it encourages writers to set goals and then to meet them. Okay, and that's probably the biggest thing that I think people take away from participating in this is that goal setting part. A lot of people have never done that before, and this might be their first opportunity to really think through, okay, I have a goal, how am I going to get to it? And realize, okay, well, I need to write this many words a day. Oh, wait, I'm not going to be able to write every day because, there is something called Thanksgiving and other things like that. So it's really, it's a challenge to figure out how to meet those goals. So there we go. So hit us with your first tip.
Oh, yeah, for sure. My first tip for everyone is that taking time to outline is great. But if you could also take a moment to plan your writing time 2 to 4 days in advance at least, then you could really kind of take that up a notch. So here's some examples of things that might be able to help you steal time from other places. Can you plan a crock pot dinner and free up 30 minutes that you would normally have for meal prep? So that might be able to help you out. If you have a kid and he's homework age, you could do your homework, quote unquote, at the same table as your kid is doing homework. So it's kind of like you're working together and you have quality time, and you don't have that mom guilt about like not being able to be there for your kids because you're both doing something together. You can plan to sit in your car or on a park bench for about 20 minutes before you even pull into your driveway. So that if the distractions are at home, then don't go home yet. Where all the distractions are. And I know not everybody's cooking and not everybody has kids, but I feel like that these could be maybe morphed into some practical ways for you if you are not in one of these categories. But I gotta tell you, I just thought about this little bitty suggestion about like sitting in your car on a park bench, and it was just, I felt like, yeah, that could be really relaxing too, just to kind of gather yourself before you start your next thing, because sometimes you go from one job to another and you don't have a break in between there. So maybe you have a little writing break in November and just see how that goes for you. You can make something purposefully, like you can choose to take this time on purpose And when you fulfill that purpose, it's a different kind of accomplishment. You feel differently than when you strategically plan versus when you steal moments like in the grocery line or at your lunch hour or something like that, where you just take time away from something else. And if you plan it and you dedicate that time to writing, it kind of makes writing feel a little more important. And I think that's what we need to do if we want to be writers, especially for a career. We need to make that craft feel important. So if you try it for a couple of days, whatever you plan out, if you try it for a couple of days and you find that your plan isn't the best method, the next 2 to 4 days, try something new, try another plan. Because if you can come out of Nano with your words and with a decent writing groove, you've kind of won twice, which is pretty awesome.
That is so true. I love how you said that. Okay, so kind of following along and piggybacking off of what you just said, make sure that when you do schedule out your writing time, think through any family events or activities that are going on in the month. Like a lot of those you may already know at the beginning of the month, so you can go ahead and block off, okay, I know I'm not going to be able to write on these days. It's just not going to happen, but I have all these other days, and kind of pinpointing those specifics. Also, a lot of times you're super excited, you're ready to get started, you've got this plan, and then all these things happen. And it's like you just don't get into a groove, and all of a sudden you're 5 days in. And you're like, oh, well, this is just impossible now because I have no words, and, the month is already zooming past me. It's okay. It's okay. What you need to do is just slow down, regroup, replan, reschedule, figure out what's going to work, and then keep going. Okay, or start. If you're 5 days in and you haven't actually gotten a word down, you're not the only one. It's okay. You can do this. Just come up with a new plan. And that's the huge part of it, is to look at it as a whole and then to break it down into those little bits and pieces of how and when you can get it done. And also make sure that you celebrate each little milestone. So your first milestone might be the first time that you actually sit down and get some words out. Celebrate it, and just enjoy those moments along the way.
And I also think that you need to find ways to make it easier for yourself as well. So, for example, math is not my thing. When I was doing NaNoWriMo, I was doing everything in one Word document. And so I would have to remember before I started to get the word count of what it was before, so I could subtract that at the end for the word count that it was then. So I would get the math to put into the website. And let me tell you guys, when you're doing this on the edge of the day, if you write like Toni Morrison and you write at the edges of the day, which I love that quote, by the way.
That's wonderful.
Isn't it nice? So I was writing at night after everything had happened during the day. And so you try to get your 1,600 words in the day. And by the end of it, if you haven't already fallen asleep about 3 or 4 times while you've been writing, you get to that number and you're like, I'm done, nothing else, done, right? And then you're like, oh my goodness, I forgot to get the original count number, and I forgot to, subtract it from this. And if I don't even want to think about recording it in the website, because that's just, I have to pull up a web browser. So there are these things that you get tired of doing when you're tired. So I have a trick for math.
Lay it on us.
So if math is not your thing, you can have a Nano project folder on your desktop. And before you even start, if you do it today, I think if you do it today, you'll have one day before November. So you can have all of this prepared before you start. Inside of that folder, you go ahead and open and save 30 Word docs and label it for the day that it is, so November 1st, November 2nd, November 3rd, whatever. So whenever you get to writing, you're writing in that Word document, it has its own personal word count. So you don't have to remember how many words it was and, how many to subtract it from or any of that. You just open up the next day's Word doc. And then whenever you're thinking about putting all of that information into the website, it's all there for you. All you have to do is look at it and click in the little numbers. You don't have to calculate or anything.
That's
And
beautiful.
honestly, for the math impaired like me, that is just such a glorious thing.
That's so true. I love it. Great tip. All right. So here are a couple of things, like as you're getting started, that I think it's important to remember. And that is, the first one is have fun. Okay? It's going to be fun, but, you knew there was going to be a but, right? Okay. But understand that this is also going to be hard work. Okay? Especially if you've never done something like this before, or tried to get this many words in this short amount of time. It's going to be very hard. All right? So understand that, know that going in so that you're not surprised, because if you don't mentally prepare yourself for that, what can happen is you're going to get halfway through the month and you're going to be like, it's just too much. I can't even do this anymore. I'm exhausted. I haven't showered in 5 days and there are Cheetos in my hair. Okay. And words are no longer coming. All right. So, first of all, try to plan a little better if you can. But you're already past that point. So, just know that it is going to be hard, and not every moment is going to be wonderful. Not every time that you sit down to write are the words going to flow and it's going to be like writer's high. Okay? That's not going to be every single time. You're going to get some of those, most likely, especially if you do it consistently, but it's not going to happen every time. So just have fun with it. And one of the ways to have fun with it is to be in a cabin. Or is that what it's called for NaNo? Or is it, because I've only done the camps, so I could be wrong if...
They have writing groups, whatever
writing
their
groups.
title is.
Yeah, whatever it is. Okay, so find a cabin or start one. Okay, and the thing about the cabin is it gives you accountability. Okay, because everybody in there can see if you wrote that day or not. And I mean, nobody's gonna throw marshmallows at you or anything like that. But
Or are they?
I don't know. It depends on your cabin.
If they throw marshmallows at you, just open your mouth and catch them.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. So you guys can have a lot of fun together. And another thing is maybe you do sprints together. Writing sprints can be a lot of fun. And then just to have that support to see, that other people are doing the same thing at the same time and they're struggling or they're having a good time with it or they're, and so are you, that kind of thing. And then also you can encourage them. And I find that when I encourage others, then I'm encouraged. When you are cheerful for other people, you are just more cheerful, which makes you in a better mood, which makes you more positive, which makes you a better writer. So there you go. It's a whole circle thing.
So this is my final tip that I have for you guys, and I actually think this is probably my most brilliant one. So be ready to be wowed. Think ahead to revisions. What? I know you haven't even written the book yet, but this is how you can help your revision process, because every draft needs revision. And I think sometimes, particularly NaNoWriMo drafts, because they're just written so quickly. But if you finish a scene and you take just a moment to describe that scene in one sentence, and you put your protagonist and your antagonist and your setting and your conflict in there and your emotional change, or all of the things that you need in order for that to be a scene, if you put all of that into one sentence before you close out of your document, when it comes time to revise your project, you can gather all of those sentences up, put them on note cards, you can rework your structure, you can create an outline from that, or you can decide if a scene has validity or not. Is it even supposed to be in there? That is a huge deal when you're coming to revisions, because if you are just staring at a document that is flawed and you don't have a starting off point, it's very overwhelming. And sometimes when we get overwhelmed, we begin to procrastinate, and we begin to doubt. And here comes all of the negative feelings, and then we don't touch it for a year, and that's a problem.
That is
Yeah.
a great tip. Mind blown. Woo.
I told you.
That's true. No, I feel like I'm just sad coming after that. But I do have a few very quick wrapping up things that hopefully will be helpful. And one of those is to remember that winning isn't worth damaging your health. Okay? So this can become a very tiring, absolutely, completely and totally physically, mentally, and emotionally draining month. Don't let it become that. It's not worth it. You don't have to win. Whatever words you get down, like May said earlier, whatever you get done in this month is going to be winning. Okay? So just keep that in mind. And if you start to feel very run down, make sure that you take a step back and you give yourself some rest. It's very important. I know Joanna Penn has written a whole book about the healthy writer, and she's got some great tips in that book. It's super important, guys, because we sit in a chair for hours at a time, and it's not really the best for us. So, especially this month, just keep that in mind. If you start to feel a little too worn, then listen to your body. And then here's my final little parting tip for you guys, and that is when you're in the flow of writing, okay? And things are going really well, and it's just, words are popping, and it's going amazing, and then all of a sudden, boom, you hit a wall because you need a character's name, or you need a type of flower, or you think, oh, well, how would this illness affect him? Would there be this or that, or okay, could he, sever an artery and still live? Your mind starts going in these places, right? And so what you need to do if that happens is take just a moment, put down whatever you need to research or whatever you need to figure out, put it in bold or brackets or make it a heading or whatever you do in your documents to mark something that you can go back and check and change. Just do it very quickly and then keep on writing. Because if you're in a really good flow, you don't want to lose that over something that you can look up later. So there you go. That's what we got.
That is. Oh, and there's one more thing that I thought of while you were saying that, actually, about taking care of yourself, and we're in a chair a lot and that sort of thing. I've been getting really into this idea of dictation and being able to talk into my phone or something like that to capture and like my words turn into text, and it's this really cool thing. And I feel like that in these moments where we get either too tired or we have been sitting for a really long time, wouldn't it be kind of cool if we could swap out our words with our fingers to words with our mouths? And then we would be able to have double the impact and still be able to maintain our health because we're walking or we're moving when we're dictating. Just a thought. I haven't tried it yet with the fiction, but boy, do I love it for nonfiction, that dictation. I've written essays on my phone before, just trying to process thoughts. I've written poetry using dictation with my phone, and it's more than just opening a voice memo. It's actually opening a note or an email or something like that and speaking directly into it. And it does a pretty decent job of translating my Southern accent. So I feel like it could do wonders for someone who speaks like more normal English, like
More proper.
yeah, more proper English. So
That's a great tip. I've been thinking that I need to attempt that and see how that works for me, because I agree. That would be very helpful to be able to walk around, to just, yeah.
And most of the time, actually, my mind is faster than my fingers. So I feel like if I'm able to speak it, I might actually get in more original thought than edited thought, because I know that, as I'm typing, I'm revising already, or I'm editing already. So just a thought there. So I just thought like dictation would be a cool time to try dictation.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a really great idea. I definitely need to play around with that.
I feel like there could be good things that are happening there, and something that's a little bit untapped for me.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
It is time for our QWERTY challenge. All right, Joy, what do we have today for our QWERTY challenge?
Okay, so if you are participating in NaNo, first of all, congratulations. Good luck. We're cheering you on. We would love to hear how it goes, what you're working on. Seriously, drop us a line because we would love to hear all about it. So here's what we have for you. Choose a few of these suggestions that we've made today to implement in your month, okay? Don't forget, NaNo is just 1 month. There are 11 more. So the lessons that you learn and the habits that you're starting now during this month should follow you throughout the year. And how exciting is that? Now, if you're not participating in NaNo, still look over these tips and see how you can use them in your regular writing and then implement them there. And one final little thing that I would challenge you to do is, and this goes for either if you're participating or not, but see if there are some NaNo events going on in your community, perhaps at your library. A lot of libraries have NaNo nights where it's like a come and take a break, or maybe it's a come and work or whatever. So if you're not participating, maybe you can help with it. But if you are participating, then hey, go hang out and see what that is all about.
Yeah. And even if you're not officially into NaNoWriMo, it's still cool to go there and write for the night.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're telling who you're going to meet, what kind of writing friends you can make. And maybe you'll find out other events too that will be happening later on that could or could not be associated to NaNo. Or with NaNo. So I know this was a writing heavy, well, actually a writing only, a writing only episode, and we will have future episodes that will deal more with the general creativity. But we just felt like this was very important to cover because of the 20-year anniversary of NaNoWriMo. So we hope you enjoyed it. Yes. And we hope you have a wonderful creative writing week.
Have a great week, guys. Bye.
Thanks for listening until the end.
Seriously, you're a trooper.
Do you think QWERTY Writing Life is the bomb?
May, you just said the bomb.
Don't you censor me.
If you think QWERTY Writing Life rocks ice for real,
oh my word,
please rate, review, and share us with others.
If you have questions about this week's episode or want to start a conversation, you can reach us by visiting QWERTYWritingLife.podbean.com.
We'll be back next week with more candid chats for you.